in high definition from KGMB. This is your source for breaking news in the morning. Hawaii News Now Sunrise.
Author Dave Nassaney is here in Hawaii. He's actually on the couch right next to me. He's got a book signing event coming up on Saturday. Dave, you know, you're called the Caregiver's Caregiver, and this is a big issue here in Hawaii because so many Hawaii families care for their elderly parents.
They even have a name for it, kapuna.
That's right, kapuna. And so yeah, I'm really interested in what you have to say about getting some respite, some relief for the caregiver.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I became a caregiver 21 years ago when my beautiful wife, Charlene, she suffered a massive stroke. It left her severely speech impaired, paralyzed on the right side. In that moment, I became a caregiver, and I had something in common with Henry Winkler, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Hillary Clinton, Queen Latifah, all caregivers. I'm now a best-selling author of It's My Life Too, Reclaim Your Caregiver Sanity, and I host a popular iTunes podcast, The Caregiver's Caregiver Radio Show. And during my National Book and Media Tour, this is my 20th interview now on a morning show, and I've even shared the stage with Suzanne Summers at Harvard.
Well, you know, I want to ask you, this role of caregiver, I mean, you were thrust into this without any forewarning. I mean,
everybody is.
Yeah, so how do you learn? How do you figure out what you can and can't do or should not do?
Well, unfortunately, it's unexpected usually, and it's not on my resume. I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't even know what a caregiver was. But I did learn over the years that there are 3 huge mistakes that you should not make as a caregiver.
Okay.
First biggest mistake is you want to put your needs first. Now, every time we go on a plane, right, the airlines tell us, in the event of an emergency, oxygen mask will fall, put your mask on first before you help your loved one with their mask.
Okay.
What an amazing metaphor for all of life. Take care of you first, not out of selfishness, but out of survival. Second biggest mistake caregivers make is they don't know how to ask for help. Everyone has one of these. It's called a cell phone. You turn it on, you punch in the number. Hello, Mom, I need help. Grandma's driving me crazy. Call your brother, call your sister, call anybody, your wife's ex-husband.
Ask.
If you can't get over the fact that you can't do it all by yourself, you're not a failure as a caregiver. That attitude will kill you. Third mistake caregivers make is they allow undeserved guilt to affect their decision-making process. Now, there was a show back when about a caregiver taking care of his elderly father. They were in the junk business. It was called Sanford and Son. And Fred Sanford was notorious for guilting his son Lamont into doing stuff. And went something like this. Oh, it's a big one. No, son, really, it's a big one. Elizabeth, I'm coming for you, honey. And Lamont fell for that con every single time. And caregivers are the same way. It's kind of like being handcuffed to your loved one for the rest of your life and just being a prisoner.
So you need to know when to say yes and when to say no to those things.
So I came up with a CARE formula. It's C-A-R-E, CARE. C stands for communicate with your friends. Don't isolate yourself. Caregivers need a life outside of caregiving. A stands for ask for help and be specific. And for goodness sake, don't turn down help when it's offered. R stands for rest. Caregivers need 8 hours rest every single night. The average one gets 2 or 3. I can't survive on 2 or 3, can you?
No.
And E stands for eat healthy, nutritious food. Don't eat junk food. Junk food's got chemicals and sugar and processed ingredients. All that stuff will kill you. So that's why I wrote my book, to save caregiver lives.
Well, lots of caregivers here in Hawaii, and if you want to meet Dave and get your book signed, you have a book signing event coming up on Saturday, right?
We have 2 book signing events. The first one is tomorrow. It's at the University of Hawaii at Moana. And that's from 11:30 to 12:30. And then the next day, Saturday, it's at the Kapahulu Library.
Very good.
I had to practice saying that name. That's from 1 to 3. And I'm going to be talking on how to prevent burnout. Going to have a meet and greet, question and answer, and then a book signing.
Awesome. Dave Nassaney, the Caregiver's Caregiver. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your important message.